All right. I'm Jared.
I'm Josh. It's good to be here.
To get that out of the way, just before I do my rant about how much I hate this time of year.
Yeah, man, it's all good. It's about ranting season.
I have friends, well, a friend, a Facebook friend that lives out in Arizona, and they're always, just posting stuff like, well, we don't celebrate daylight savings time. It's like, well, good for you.
Yeah, that's good.
But
I wish that all of us were doing what you were doing, but unfortunately, we've made the stupid decision.
How can I get on board with that? I've written everybody I know how to, and they keep doing it anyway.
Yeah, man. I was talking to some buds about, this will be short, but about Trump's chances for 2020, and I'm like, I tell you what, man, he runs on a platform of getting rid of daylight saving time. He'll get some people back in the fold, man.
I can get behind that.
Yeah, seriously. It's like, well, you know what? He's not that nuts. It's like there's a lot of people that would get behind that. I tell people all the time.
Well, making some sense.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. He's telling it like it is. I tell people all the time, man, that when I run for office, quite literally, the only thing I'm going to promise people is that when you go into a business and you run your debit card, those machines are going to be standardized. It's going to be the same thing everywhere. And if I now incorporate daylight saving into it, I'll win.
Oh,
I will win.
That's top of the list.
That's two more useful things that have been done by the government that there has been in my lifetime. I genuinely think one truly useful thing implemented from Washington D.C. One, and it's part of the dadgummit, I always get the name wrong, man, but it's the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, I believe. And it's why I like Elizabeth Warren as much as I do, because this is all her. Obama got credit. I gave Obama credit for it, man, but it was all her. And it's so stupid, but it's then whenever you get your credit card bill, and it's got those little division blocks on it, and it's like, this is what you owe, this is your minimum payment. If you pay nothing but the minimum, it'll take you this long, and this is what you'll spend in interest. If you can do this much, it'll take you this long, and it'll cost you that much. And it's one of the most useful things that has ever come from the rear end of Washington, D.C. It's useful. Everybody's got credit card debt. I love that. That's one of the most useful things to the biggest number of people that I can think of, and it's cool, and I love it.
The holidays can be depressing enough. You don't need it getting dark at 4:30 or 5 o'clock to make it even worse. I don't understand why. My body adjusts better to losing an hour, way better than it does gaining. My sleep schedule will be jacked up for at least a week, probably a month, just from gaining an hour. And I've never understood why.
Just through this nonsense.
Losing an hour, you can bounce back pretty quick, but gaining one, it's this false idea of like, we've got all this extra time. Like, not really.
I get one more hour before I'm in the cold ground.
All right.
Just take it to like metaphysical despair.
Oh my God.
I live every day. I'm thrilled I don't have kids, because kids have never been anything I wanted. And that sounds negative and anti-kid, but what I'm about to say is very pro-kid. And man, this time of year, if I happen to be awake and out and doing my thing, and I see kids at the bus stop when it is pitch black, it makes me nervous for them. I ain't even got no kids, but the fact these kids belong to somebody, it makes me nervous, man.
I wake up in cold sweats worrying about these kids that never even existed.
Dude, it's insane. I'm like, man,
what would I do?
For real. It's just that always bothers the crap out of me, man. Sending your kids out to the freaking bus stop at 6 o'clock in the morning, and it looks like it don't even look like midnight, man. It looks like you're sending them into outer space, man. It's like, good Lord, they're out moonwalking to the bus stop, man. That makes me nervous all the time. Yeah, seriously.
Bye
bye. You can do it. I believe in you. Don't die.
We'll
see. Yeah, for real. We'll see. That's me and my brother, and I swear it was one of those things. It was like a mass hallucination where we're convinced this happened. And I think it's the second Star Wars. It's one of the, they're not all awful, but the first three, the prequels I think they're all terrible. I hate every one of them.
Very, very skippable.
But I'm pretty sure it's the second one where my brother and I do love the fact that Kenobi, they just diss him so hard. I mean, he looks so bumbling and so stupid in the hopes of making Anakin look so cool, and it's like, man, y'all didn't have to do Kenobi that way. That's why so many of us that like Kenobi would love the idea of McGregor coming back and getting his own movie. I'd love that. But anyway, he's like, it's when he's going off to the rain planet and all that stuff. And so in our version of it, man, Kenobi's just got this, whatever attitude, man, I'm going to be fine. It's amazing I'm not dead already. So he's walking off, and Anakin calls back to him. He's like, Obi-Wan. And he turns around, he's like, may the Force be with you. And we're like, Kenobi's like, and we literally convinced ourselves that actually happened in the movie. And of course it doesn't. But it'd be great if it did.
Should have hired Jeff Bridges to play youngish Obi-Wan. It's like, we're alive, man!
Hey, man, it's okay. Hey. It'd be awesome. I'd love it, man. If Dude Kenobi would totally work. It'd be fine, man. Hey, dude, tomorrow's already the 10th. It's one of the best lines in that whole movie, man. It's like, hey, you're telling me the date, thanks. Like, doesn't even consider that he's trying to hint. Far out. It's the best.
Right on, brother.
Right on, man. 10th, all right.
Man, I guess my venture that I did this past week was it's like an old friend coming back to town when one of your favorite shows comes to your local city.
I agree.
And I went to see Wicked again, and I say again because I figured it up. This has got to be at least number 3.
Yeah, man.
It kind of runs together. I couldn't remember if it was 3 or 4, but I went with I got hooked up with tickets. Shout out to Daryl work. And it was one of those kind of deals where he's like, he had never seen the show.
Yeah.
Had never been to the Fox.
Oh man, so yeah, that's awesome.
And you're in for a treat.
Oh yes, that's very cool.
Just going to that building alone and seeing that. I mean, it's a landmark in Atlanta, and I think there are Fox theaters in several cities. But at one time, that's kind of the neat things. That they were a company that owned theaters, and I know there's one in Detroit.
Yeah, that's the other one I know about too, is the Detroit one.
Seems like there's another, maybe St. Louis or something. I don't know. And then you get to give everybody the lowdown, because like literally the Bell South AT&T it is now company was literally right next door, and they wanted to tear this place down in the 70s, and it was already like a landmark then. It's like, man, you can't have this. It won't stand. And it's a fun. It's just if you've ever stood, everybody has a spot in their town where like there's just good vibes here. And then that's one of them in Atlanta. So for that to have never been there would have been awful.
I could be wrong about this. I'm pretty sure that in 1939 when the premiere of Gone with the Wind,
it was there.
It was not in California. They literally came.
It was there.
Yeah, it was right there, and it's like you say, man. The 70s, you want to tear it down. So that was 39, baby. We've been established for a while now. This ain't happening.
Yeah, that's still one of the, to this day, it's a neat thing that they do there. If there's Broadway in Atlanta, odds are it's going to come there. There are some other theaters that they do tend to go to around town, but that's if you can't get in the Fox, you have to go other places.
Yeah. But you're right. You try the Fox first. You're right.
You see Broadway in Atlanta there. You can still see movies there. There are still some music acts that play there, and it's the best place to see all of it in that spot. So talk about the prequels. That's where when in the summer they do the Coca-Cola movie festival, and that's each summer that there was one of those that they could have. They had it there, and I know I saw Attack of the Clones and Sith there. I didn't bother with the Phantom Menace because I saw that enough times in my own theaters around town. I was like, I'm done.
Yeah, it was. I'm with you. It was. I watched Phantom Menace a bunch. I watched Attack of the Clones once, and I watched Sith 0 times until it came out on DVD, and I was at somebody's house.
Yeah. So, I mean, see, there's a whole list of movies that I've seen there that some I probably forgot. The first time I saw Lyle Lovett was there. First time I saw David Gray was there, and it's one of those theaters like, man, people get all hung up about, like, I don't know, we might have to get a seat in the balcony. Like, get a seat in the balcony.
Yeah, that's preferable.
If you can get a seat first or second row, and those are the first seats to go.
Absolutely.
And that's where I saw Lyle Lovett. It was literally like second row balcony. I was like, I never want to sit anywhere else.
That's
if I can help it.
I've mentioned it on here before, man, because we love us some Fox Theater. When I went and saw Sarah McLachlan, I think we were about 4 rows back. It was perfect.
It's
perfect.
Man, the floor's fine, but it's one of those kind of floors where, like, I mean, just being in that building, you're gonna be able to hear it. Number one.
Oh yes.
And you're gonna be able to see just fine. So I mean, it's not a huge place. It's shocking how many people they get in there for it to be as small as it is. But yeah, man, it's like going back in time. I mean, you go up to the top, man. If you got to run down to the toilet, it's in the basement. So keep that in mind. And I was doing that thing during intermission. Like, yeah, I probably do need to run down. They're gonna let this line die down, and thank God I didn't, because, man, I wouldn't have made it back. So I was like, man, but it was like mob scene. But that's just, and it being that's part of getting there, and you realize that, man, you sit some of those aisles and you sit down in these seats, like, oh man, these were built when people were a lot smaller, but still it's part of the experience and fun, and I just love it, everything about it.
I'm the same way. Every time I go, man, I'm extremely happy that I went. Never had a bad time at the Fox, man. And also, exactly like you're saying, theater itself is great. That part of town is just, man, it's charming as hell. It really is. I completely agree with you. Just the vibe, like you was talking about, man. It's just awesome down there.
Yeah, and we're walking down to the place, because it started out, the place I get to, what I used to get to anywhere in Atlanta is, if you can take MARTA, by all means do it. And that's how we got down there. And another thing you have to factor in, like, man, if you're going to do a dinner and go into a 7:30 show during the week at the Fox, you probably need to do dinner before, because there's some places open afterwards, but not enough. So luckily we did do that, because we would have been screwed, because I would have been starving by the time we got out. But anyway, took MARTA down there. You get off at you can get off at North Avenue, go right to the Fox. You can take a stop up, get off at North Avenue, walk back down, and go to another Atlanta landmark, the Vortex. So we did that. Got some burger on, which is never a bad thing to do.
No.
Walking out of the Vortex, and like kind of doing the Google thing, just to realize, just trying to, because at this point it was kind of like, we got plenty of time, but it's kind of like, I don't know, do we even need to go do that? I had no idea how close you are to the Fox from the Midtown Vortex. It would have taken us longer to walk back to MARTA, get on the train, get off, and get up. So we're like, it says it's like another block or two. Let's just walk, and we did. And after a burger at the Vortex, you probably do need to kind of get some walking going on.
It's good for you to get that digestive stroll on. Every time, because I spend when I go to Atlanta, it's usually Georgia Tech, North Avenue, Varsity. The Varsity's true. It's right there.
The Varsity does not stay open as late as it used to.
Once did.
We found that out.
Yeah.
We're walking out like, you know what, a frosted orange would be good.
Yeah,
and got down there, and that's when I realized, thank God we ate beforehand. That crossed my mind, like, let's do it afterwards, because I could not sit through a show after a Varsity meal, so didn't want to do that beforehand.
Yeah, it's a courtesy thing to not go to the Varsity before you're going to be around other human beings. You got it. It's great. Love the Varsity, and it's interesting, man. Like the Varsity anymore, when I go, I've got my like standard order, and I swear to y'all, chili dogs are wonderful. I love them, but I'm telling you, they're not in my standard anymore. Quite literally, when I go to the varsity, which is rare because I've got my tech tickets for later this year. Going to the varsity on game day is one of the biggest pains in the ass on earth. If you're interested in,
don't do it beforehand.
If you're interested in, it would be a very fun thing. My brother and I talk about this all the time, man, about like going to different cities for college football games, but not worrying about the tickets. Just go and find some place that'd be fun to hang out. That would be fun. Like if you just went downtown during the game and just hung out, that'd be awesome. You could do that, and I just think that's cooler because I can't stand being out in the sun anymore. So, man, give me a bar, nice place to eat. You're chilling out, watching stuff's all good. Anyway, just the one little courtesy thing that I know everybody knows this, but it's still fun to say it out loud, man, is if you do that, if you go to a place that's not a sports bar and you treat it like a sports bar, you got to tip like it's a sports bar. Just remember that most places it's not even about tipping. But if you got a place where you got a server, you can't just put down like, hey, we were here for 30 minutes, here's your tip. You got to factor that in because you ain't moving and you're not turning over, and it's just things factor in. It's silly, but it's good to say it out loud. But game day varsity sucks. It really does. It's a pain in the ass. It's cool to go afterwards. I mean, it's still busy, but it's not nearly as bad.
It's like it can be done.
Absolutely. If you don't mind sitting in the little like classroom, which I love. I'm a big fan of sitting down at the desk, and it's cool.
Go anyway.
Yeah, I'm with you. I love it. I think that's real cool. But the standard order anymore, man, is order of fries, order of onion rings, frosted orange. That's what I love. That's my favorite things there. I love them. And I should just do onion rings, but I like their french fries too, so that's what I do. And it's like, yes, one of each of them, you hook me right on up.
I order, and it's going to sound gross, but I don't go to the varsity that often.
Oh, yeah.
Twice a year is pushing it. 2 or 3 times a year. 2 chili slaw dogs, order onion rings, chili cheeseburger, and a big old Coca-Cola. And there have been times after all that I'm like, well, you know, I can still get a shake.
It's true. It's true, man. It'll go
for the ride home.
Yeah, the varsity. It's weird, man. I mean, especially if you live around town, man. It goes down easier than it should. It's like crystals. You can either eat crystals or you can't. But most of us south of Chattanooga, we're okay with it.
Yeah.
Good.
And man, I totally got screwed one of the last times. It's not their fault. It's mine. I mean, I did the whole deal where go to the varsity, sit down and eat, and I'm like, do that shake for the ride home. I'm like, okay, I'll do this. George Foreman, when he quit boxing, I'll go through the drive-thru to get that because I don't want to look like a crazy person. And I'm like, how big can a large be? They handed me a freaking carton of ice cream, basically.
It's a Mayfield with a straw in it.
So I'm like,
enjoy.
I get 2 sips in, I'm like, there's that clod of, chocolate ice cream. I'm like, I just have to churn this up.
Yeah, man.
And, you get halfway through it, like, man, I can't finish this. There's no way. So don't do the large if you can help it. I mean, keep that in mind.
Just do a human shake.
But, man, and just the shows at the Fox I've seen. I mean, there's like, that's where you go see Phantom of the Opera. I've seen that at least twice. That one's another one. It gets kind of fuzzy. It's like, I know I've seen it at least the 2 times. It may be more than that. Wicked, Mamma Mia. I think that's the shows, Broadway shows that I've seen there.
Yeah, man.
But man, and going to see Wicked and going with somebody else, we're kind of walking down there, and like I'm trying to explain a little bit about what the show is. And to me, the best way to describe the show is it's like watching because first of all, it's to read the book that it's based on. It's kind of like reading the Winston Groom Forrest Gump book. If somebody had come to me after reading that book, said, yeah, we're going to make a lighthearted movie with plenty of levity that everybody's going to love. And I was like, no, you're not.
You're crazy.
No, you're not going to do that.
It's not possible.
Forrest Gump's one of those books that I always think about that. It's like, yes, there was a really neat list. It may have been Watch Mojo or Screen Rant, one of the two that did movie is better than the book.
Oh,
And
yeah.
that's top of the list. But the Wicked novel is kind of like, you seriously gonna make this into a show? Because and they touch on it a good bit in the musical, but it's kind of like, I don't want to sit through Animal Farm in Oz, which is what the book is, like all this political stuff, and I'm like, man, that's, how in the world are you gonna make this something that, yeah, we're gonna bring kids to see it and they're gonna love it? Like, you're crazy.
Okay.
No, you're not. But and I think that's the kind of the what they had to do with that novel. Is like, yeah, we're taking all the good Wizard of Oz,
All the Oz
movie
related stuff, yeah.
that we can use, and we're using the Elphaba name and the title, and that's about it. All of those stuff you can just
And it is there.
Mr. McGuire. And he's like, fine, baby.
Yeah, it's okay with me, man.
So that's to me the best description of that show is like, when you were watching the Wizard of Oz movie, this was happening over here, and you see kind of, and is it canon? No, to me it is. I kind of like to believe that that's kind of how it went down. It's just another version of the story. And the origin of virtually every character is there, and it's like, man, I like somebody's idea of like, no, this is how it went down, and the reason why we don't call her the Wicked, well, they get around to saying the Wicked Witch, but maybe she wasn't the wicked one that you thought she was. Maybe it wasn't her. And so it's a neat show, and it's just awesome. It's one of my favorites. The Phantom of the Opera was my favorite, but since this came along, it's been out going on 15, 20 years now.
Yeah, man.
It's top of the list for me, and it's just one of those shows that we're walking to the show, and everybody has that kind of dicky moment when you're going to see a show with another dude. They kind of turn to you like, you aren't going to cry, or you? I said, when they do Defying Gravity at the end of the first act, I promise you nothing, because
Let me tell you something.
I've witnessed this, and I can say it
Yes.
with certainty. At the end of Phantom of the Opera, when he sings, "It's over now," grown men are crying. Defying Gravity at the end of the first act. You talk about a show that the first act is heavy to the point where, and I told Daryl that night, I said, man, the second act is like downhill, because the first act is all about the relationship to build to this breakup, and I mean, when they break up at the end of the first act, it's like, man, it's fun.
I have never seen Wicked. I had a copy of the soundtrack, but I'd never seen it. And the deal is this, in my opinion: never been in this building before, so there's no way that I can prepare you for what you're about to see. You can listen to that CD, and when John Travolta's favorite singer gets to Defying Gravity,
Jesus,
you need to pull your car over, and that's just listening to it on the CD, man. You in the building, oh my God, it's like, dude, it is full on Kleenex riot. It's oh my, I can only imagine. I'm with you. It's like, dude, there's no fucking way. I forget my language. That happened to all of us at when I went to see Les Mis, man.
Oh yeah,
dude, when they get to the freaking oh man, what are the lyrics? They'll come back to me in a second, man. I can't think of what the exact words are, but tomorrow we'll see what our God in heaven has in store. One more dawn, one more day, one day more. I'm telling you, buddy, when they get to that and drop the curtain, everybody in that building is going through the roof. You might as well have fireworks up your butt, because it is, I mean, we are all jumping out of our skin. It's fantastic. And then the second act comes up, and you get stars, and you get On My Own, and Les Mis was unbelievable. My favorite, we were talking about favorites. I love Les Miserables. I love that show, and I was really happy that I got to see it when I did. It was awesome. Billy Elliot's my favorite show I've ever seen. That thing blew me away. I could not believe how cool that was. I love that movie anyway, so I went and watched the musical, and I'm like, holy crap, Elton, thanks, brother. And it was cool. I don't know if I told you this or not. I'm sorry if I've told this story before, but it made me so happy when I went to see Rocket Man, which I really enjoyed. I understand that it's kind of like the Queen movie, where apparently we're not supposed to like it, but hey, I liked them both. That was cool. But I was hoping, and there's no need for it, I was just kind of hoping they would mention that Elton wrote the music for the Billy Elliot musical. You don't have to, but it's just me being selfish. And I'm like, that would have been a nice little tribute. And then I realized that...
How hard would it be?
Well, I realized when the movie was over, and I'm like, I know this guy. Why do I know this guy? I never put it together. The guy that plays Bernie Taupin is Jamie Bell. That's who played Billy Elliot in the movie. And I'm like, well, that's a hell of a bit of a tribute to Billy Elliot there that I completely missed. I'm like, that's awesome, man. It was great, dude. Jamie Bell's my man, dude. He played Billy Elliot. He played Ben Grimm in the new horrible Fantastic Four, but he still got to play Ben Grimm. He was Captain America's sidekick in Snowpiercer. That was awesome. And then he was, Bernie Taupin. Yeah, we just said it. It's awesome, man.
And this was got to be, and it's tough because I mean anytime you see a Broadway show come through town, man, it's good folks up there. It's not just community theater. Top to bottom, probably the best cast that I've seen do the show. Everybody, because you go see that show, and there's some nights like I kind of like the girl that did Glinda better than I like the girl that did Elpha better. But this top to bottom, everybody was. I mean, there wasn't a weak link to be had, and it gets to the climax of the show, and you have the guy that's doing the wizard with this show is like so freaking good, and it's just and I've heard the this song before, but when it gets when he realizes who he was to her, and he sings the lines, I always wanted to be a father, is it's like, oh my God, I've never seen anybody. And we were talking about earlier the reasons why you can't really emote that much on a stage, because people need to be able to understand what you're saying, and so. But it was one. It really kind of drove it home, and it was one of the, just hell of a crowd that night. I mean, and we were all kind of in it together. And another show that's was good for that was I always loved Mamma Mia.
Oh wow, that was too much fun, man.
And I've never been to a show where when it gets to Dancing Queen, it's like the whole theater's up and dancing with them.
You can't help it. It's Dancing Queen, man.
So it's not always just a just slash a wrist vest at the Fox.
Yeah. Oh, dude, it's true. Whenever you see Mamma Mia live, and they get to Dancing Queen, you're young and sweet, only 17. That's you. It's like, yeah. This show is awesome, man. That's the thing. Billy's got some really heavy stuff in it, but it's an up show. It really is, man. Les Mis is not. Les Mis is lovely, but man, Book of Mormon is brilliant. So unbelievably good. That one's fun because I mean, there's like the stereotypical Fox crowd, and they go because they got season tickets, and man, they love it just as much as we plebeians that go. I just learned the other day how to properly say that word, so I'm glad I said it right. But it was too much fun, man. But you can see Book of Mormon was a lot of fun because there were several pillars of Atlanta that just old money that you can just tell, and they were having as much fun as we were. It really was a neat experience. That's awesome, man. It's stupid, except that it was positive, so that's why I mentioned it. It was cool, man.
Yeah,
I think that's all the shows I've seen there. Really, in general, I haven't been to the Fox a ton of times, but I've seen the quality far outstrips the quantity.
Yeah,
I think that's right. Anyway, it was awesome, and I'm glad to know that you were telling me earlier that the run is through a little bit longer, so I might try and get out there because I need to see that show.
It's worth the drive.
It's worth the drive, brother.
And I always have to remind myself, and I have to remind anybody that's ordering tickets from there. It's like, don't freak out when you get them, because when you get them, one of the things that they do, I don't know if it's, I think it's just part of keeping the building. We're going to keep this building the way it has always been. So when you order seats there's odd row, even row, odd row, even row. So you order 2 seats next that you think are going to be next to each other, and you get 2 numbers. Like, there's going to be somebody in the middle of us. Like, don't freak out.
It's all good. It's just
it's just how they do it there. It's how it's always done. I don't know if they do that at every Fox theater, but that's how they do it.
They do it at the one down there.
Yeah. So they haven't changed that, you know. So don't freak out.
Yeah, it's cool, man.
But sure enough, I think that's probably what would have happened when you got tickets. Like, what the heck?
What'd you do, man?
You messed this up.
Yeah, for real, man.
I had nothing to do with that.
We'll throw this in real quick because we were talking about it earlier, and I mentioned it a moment ago, man. I was talking about you get to Act 2 and you get to On My Own. Eponine. Eponine is the name of the character that sings On My Own. It was driving me nuts. I couldn't think of it earlier. Eponine. I'm happy. I'm happy.
But, man, I don't know. I think my deal with having not seen the film version of the musical Les Mis, and just seeing that alone, it's a solid 6 months, probably a year, before I get those songs out of my head.
Oh, I can dig it, man.
It's probably one reason why I haven't seen the actual live shows. Like, man, I can't.
But they will. You're right. I mean, they get stuck, and it's interesting, man, because we talk about this with like shows, but I could be totally wrong because my like knowledge of musical theater is very, very limited. But I don't know if there is another show that's got that many frontline contenders for the show stealer. There ain't one. I mean, it's unbelievable. That thing is like 6 songs deep with stuff everybody knows.
Yeah.
It's amazing. I mean, I Dream to Dream, I think it's talked about the most, and I totally get why. Because when you go see it, I mean, there's great stuff before it, but it is jarring when you see it, and it's not even just seeing it live. It's just that song is like that, because you're totally right that with the movie with Anne Hathaway, which everybody I know loves, and I include myself and everybody I know, because holy crap, that's unbelievable. It's unreal. And we were talking about it, how like you've had like the Liam Neeson Jeffrey Rush movie version, which was good, man. It's not a musical, which is very smart. It was good. It was real cool. But whenever you do the musical version, man, you've got to. There's a reason that Master of the House is as beloved as it is. Because we were talking about, like, Tenardi is one of the worst characters in the whole thing, and that's a high bar in Les Mis.
Yeah.
But everyone is so relieved for the moment that you can laugh and enjoy this silly little song because of Fantine. We're all so sad about Fantine, and we want to die, and then it's like, okay, we're gonna be fine. We're gonna make it.
Give us something.
Oh my God, seriously, man, it's intense, man. It's intense live, and it's just like you said, when you watch the movie, it's like, yep, it's just that song.
Yeah.
But yeah, on the subject of Les Mis stuff, man. Now that I remember Eponine's name, man, just type in Lea Salonga Eponine. And it'll come up. I think the anniversary one is really good. There's any of them are real good. We were talking about that earlier, man. Lea Salonga is the voice of Ariel from The Little Mermaid, so you know what to expect as far as like pipe ability. And as far as I know, Les Mis is, I think that's what put her on the map, and I think so. I mean, it's always fun when you can, you know, like if you go on YouTube, man, you can listen to Andrew Rannells do the stuff from Book of Mormon, and it's like you said, if they're at the Fox, they know what they're doing. The cast is unbelievable, but it's fun. I mean, you can go back and watch people that made this stuff up. Like, everybody loses their gourd over Neil Patrick Harris's Hedwig, and apparently it's fantastic, and I have no reason to believe that it's not. But you watch, I think it's John Cameron Mitchell. I always get his name wrong. It's a 3-name guy. He's the guy from the movie because he made up the show. Yeah. I can only imagine that Neil is wonderful, but I love listening to the guy that made the thing up sing The Origin of Love. It's fantastic. That stuff is fun, man. And then, again, I always get her name wrong, too. I think it's Idina Menzel, I think is her name. All my people that like Frozen, man, you got to turn them on to Defying Gravity. It's like, okay, all right, if Let It Go did it for you, I got you. I got a treat for you, buddy.
Yeah. You know, I'm certain in the musical scene she was a star beforehand, but that's where it started. And that original run of that show, I mean, just the fact that and they got Joel Grey
Yeah.
to play the wizard. You had Menzel as Elphaba and Kristen Chenoweth as Glinda.
As Glinda, yeah.
And just that's just those three people in one show is like, good God Almighty.
Dang, y'all.
Good God Almighty.
Yeah. Good God. Turns you into Diamond Dallas Page.
Yeah. So, but man, it's just definitely one of those shows that you got to go see. And I dig it.
That's awesome, man.
Gets better every time.
Every time, brother.
Gets better.
More and more worth the drive, brother.
And there were rumors several years ago about a film version of it, which, I mean, for Christ's sake, one of the best jokes ever that I saw was come from our friend Julie when they went to New York and saw The Lion King there in New York, and her post on Facebook was, finally a good show about cats.
Yes.
If you can do the live action version of Cats, you're gonna get to Wicked.
I think you're right.
And honestly, I think it may have been hurt a little bit by the Maleficent movie, where like, oh well, maybe we need to let this cool off when they had their surprise hit with a witch movie that we're going to show you the character that you always thought was terrible and wicked and maybe wasn't.
Maleficent. We were just talking about the day we were in we were Halloween store shopping the day after Halloween because they mark everything down and it's always fun.
That's the best time.
Absolutely, man.
That's the most wonderful time of year. 50% off Reese cups.
Dude, seriously, you go in the old, what used to be the old drugstore. We were, Aaron and I deduced that basically it's always an old, he pointed it out, he said it's always an old drugstore that becomes a Halloween store. Yeah. And so we were laughing about that. I was like, it's like Needful Things, man. That's like the deal. It's like if you're going to open up a Rite Aid, it's like in 7 years' time. They put this curse on it, you have to have Halloween stuff.
Yeah.
But one of the items they had was just like the Maleficent horns, and there's nothing. The only reason I bring it up is because it was like licensed for the movie, so it's got the picture on it. And people sometimes have strong feelings on Angie. Sometimes they don't care. It is what it is. But man, that casting is fantastic. As far as like the just genuinely what this human being looks like, and then turning her into that character, it's like, perfect. Oh my God, you talk about match made in heaven. It is so cool, man.
It was, and on top of all that, it's a good movie.
I thought so too. I haven't seen the second one yet, but I really liked the first one. It was cool, man.
I was kind of, I haven't seen the second one, but it was one of those sequels you're kind of like, why do we need to do this one?
Yeah, it's like if I'm feeling it when it's in the red box, I'll grab it. But yeah. I'm not beating down the doors to get in there. It's okay.
And like what you're talking about with The Little Mermaid, everybody was so butthurt over that a few weeks ago, and I finally realized what it is. It ain't even going to be a movie. They've been doing those like. They did Peter Pan a few years ago.
Oh,
and,
wow.
And all that bull mess with the it's going to be a live action musical, but that's what they're doing. So it's like, calm down, everybody. And I was saying calm down when I thought it was going to be a movie.
Oh my God,
But it's going to be one of those. It's like NBC Thanksgiving night or whatever the heck it is.
That was Peter Pan.
And that's what their version of The Little Mermaid is going to be, and it's going to be run alongside the animated version, so that's even dumber.
Yeah, to get upset about it is ridiculous. But yeah, that whole thing is stupid. But it's but I didn't know that's what it was, so that's cool.
I don't know that they weren't really forthright and told everybody that's what they were going to do to begin with. People flipped out, and it finally came out this week. Like, oh, why was everybody so butthurt about who got cast as the Little Mermaid? Like, it's gonna be a show.
Well, after everybody duked their trousers over the Lion King not having songs in it, I guess that you better. I guess you better. But it just a lot of that backlash stuff just feels like people waiting for something. And the Little Mermaid thing was so stupid because it's like, oh, you gotta give the diverse cast. Don't make no sense. I don't understand why everybody was completely okay with Game of Thrones Horse Lord Man being Aquaman, but this bothers you. Because Jason Momoa being Aquaman made all the sense in the world. Yeah, Aquaman being a pale-skinned blonde guy doesn't make sense. No. And Ariel, I totally understand why Ariel is a skinny redheaded girl. I get it. It's Hans Christian Andersen. I get it. That's what the story was written as. But boy, does it not make sense to have, do you have any redheaded friends? I do. I have lovely redheaded friends. I don't know a single one of them that enjoys being outside on a sunny day because it just kicks the crap out of them.
Water.
It kicks the crap out of them. So now I'm going to live underwater.
Yeah.
Come on, man. It's like...
Red-headed and white as the driven snow.
No kidding.
Exactly what I expect to come out of the sea.
No kidding. It's like, y'all... Triton, they got right. Triton had a nice tan. He had that permanent... It was... Anyhow, I don't mean to be ridiculous about it because I totally understand why they animated it that way because that's what the story was. I do like them changing the story, though, to something a little bit more logical. That don't bother me either.
Yeah.
But that's good that it's a musical because, God, people got mad about that. And that one, I think if you... and Lion King, too, to be fair. People love that soundtrack. So if you take those songs out, I can see people getting mad about that. But
what?
Yeah. She did what? That's one of my favorite lines in any movie ever, man. That guy's the best. Excuse me.
You know, I was... when that news came out this week, I was like, oh, God. Maybe that wasn't the plan to begin with all the backlash. Like, well, we'll just do this instead. Who knows? But got that to look forward to.
Oh yeah, man, that's cool, dude. But yeah, can't take the songs out of it. And that's the other thing too. It's funny. It's like if you got a problem with a woman of color, any color that's not white, portraying Ariel, don't look up who did the voice. I got some bad news for you. If perma-white skin and a lack of red hair bugs you, oh, Lea Salonga is not for you, and that's who played it the first time, so get over it.
Oh, you gonna hate this.
Oh, seriously, y'all won't like this, no, not even a little bit.
Oh, no.
Not even a little bit. And then she starts singing, and you're like, never mind, I'm good. And that's the way it should be. He starts singing, everybody's cool, we're good.
Just give him a Little Richard. Shut up.
Yeah, for real, man. Oh, my God. Little Richard's my man. He is so awesome.
I didn't really think that was I was gonna rant that long.
Shoot, it's cool, man. It's good. It's fun to talk about musicals, man. That's good stuff, dude. I got to I don't want to fuss about the demise of my guides. It was just, man, it wasn't a bad game at all.
We just hurt people.
Oh, dude, that fan base is. I like United's fan base as far as the rev up and excitement and la di da, but they do complain more than any other three fan bases in this town put together.
After winning a championship last year,
and then people
getting as close as we did this year, and all I saw on Facebook with folks around here is like, "Well, we're still Atlanta, I guess." Like, you won a title last year.
Most of the "we're still Atlanta" people are people that don't know anything about United and just jump up and want to whine about it after the fact. The biggest problem I've got with the Atlanta United fans are the ones that I've talked to, and it's weird because my main United source is my buddy Darian, and we're cool. We have a real good time. We talk about good stuff. It's messed up. I haven't talked to her about them in like a month and a half because they went on that nice run, and I got nervous about jinxing it. And then I got the news that Arthur is getting a USW. Oh man, what is the acronym for the Women's League? It's either USWL or UWS. It's United National. I'm sorry, National NWSL, National Women's Soccer League. That's it. Arthur's getting an NWSL club. I had made the commitment. I was like, I'm not going to communicate with Darian about Atlanta United. And then I got that news, and I'm like, I can't not tell her this. So if I cursed United if I jinxed them, I apologize. But it was too much. I had to discuss that because that's awesome. And this is me. I'm bringing it up to apologize for the role that I played in getting United eliminated. But I want to go on record. I want to make it very clear. If you don't call them Atlanta United, I'm going to cry. That would be so awesome because there are a couple of Major League Soccer teams that have affiliates in that league, but they're not called. I think the Timbers have one. I think Portland has one, but they're not Portland Timbers. And I wish they were. Yeah. I just think that would be so cool, man, to have a women's soccer team called Atlanta United. That's what it's called. And I'm like, yes, oh God, that would be so cool, man. Yeah. Anyhow, but yeah, man, you make it to the Eastern Conference. You host the Eastern Conference final. It's freaking awesome, man. But it was just one of those days where it's frustrating because when you look at the possession, we really, really did everything that we set out to do except bag a second goal. And it's very frustrating. Everybody wants to kill Joseph for missing a penalty, and it's like, wow, you're new, because that happens to everybody. But whatever, man. It was a bummer because the way they played, you really would expect a win. And it sucks that we didn't win, but we didn't. And that's all right. And part of the thing, to be totally selfish about it, is that I watched that game as a nervous wreck because I wanted to win. And it's not, I have a lot more fun. I love United, but I have a lot more fun when I can watch a game where I'm just completely neutral. And with Seattle, I will be pulling for Seattle because I like them. But I got nothing against Toronto either. Everybody lost their minds over Bradley and Altidore because, man, I don't remember what tournament it was, but the U.S. national team went somewhere and laid an egg, and they took the brunt for it, and everyone just got talking all that junk about Toronto. It's like, well, you know, 2 years ago they set a record for points in the regular season, and then they went on and won the whole thing. Well, L.A. broke that record for points. Yes, they did. And then what happened to them? Seattle Sounders happened. So I don't want to hear about it. I don't want to hear about L.A. because the Chicago Bulls set a wins record in 1996, and then 2 years ago, I believe it was 2 years ago, 3. Dadgummit, now I don't remember. Whenever the Warriors set they won 73, and they get to the final, and LeBron and Kyrie and them beat them. Don't mean a thing without that ring. You're right, it doesn't. And that's the same thing with LA. I don't want to hear a damn thing about LAFC over Toronto because Toronto set the points record and then won everything. So good for them.
Yeah.
It's cool, but this way I shouldn't say totally neutral because I am pulling for Seattle, but I'll actually enjoy my MLS Cup Sunday now. And it sucks to say that because, of course, you want your team to win. But I'm ridiculous, and I'm miserable when it's my team unless it's the Hawks. That's why the Hawks are my favorite team. I watch the Hawks get beat by 50. I don't care. I love them so much. It's fine. It's totally fine. And that's something else we'll talk about. I apologize. I'll make it quick. Brother, I know we made us a nice trade last year. It worked for everybody. Great trade for Dallas. I thought it was a very good trade for us because I like Trae Young and John Collins together. I like it. Luka with anybody I think would be a star, but Dallas had a hard-on for him, so it worked out good for us. People keep trying to make that a one-for-one trade. It wasn't. You can fill in the blank now. It was Luka Doncic for Trae Young and Cam Reddish. That's who it was. And as far as people killing Reddish already, hang on. Good God, he's a kid. We knew he was a kid. He was 19 when we drafted him.
Get a week.
He was 19 when we drafted him, man. Hey, dude, he's got years as far as I'm concerned, man, because all that's fine, all that's dandy. Why did we draft Cam Reddish 10th? Well, we'll tell you why. Because all those people, don't get me wrong, Zion. And if you're in the one spot, you taking Zion. I get that. That's all of us. That's any of us. That's exactly the way it should be. Memphis falling in love with Ja Morant. I get it. Ja's special, and that's real cool. We got our point guard, so Ja wouldn't have been our guy, but I understand why he went to the team he went to. Very cool. We're at 3. We trade Luka, and I can't say we drafted Luka, then traded him. No, we made the trade before we drafted him. The NBA's weird, but that's how it works. That was the deal. We got on the phone with Dallas, and it was like, yeah, we'll pick him for you, then we'll trade him, and it'll be all good, and we'll get your first rounder next year. So all that's good. All that stuff is fine. I understand going back to the top of the ticket. I understand that Zion was the number 1 guy. I'm sorry, I got confused because I did Trae and Luka. I apologize. You got number 1, you got number 2. I forgot who went 3. It seems like it was the Knicks. The Knicks drafted R.J. Barrett. Sorry, I mixed the two together. I apologize. So let me come back to this year. You get to number 4. The Hawks got to number 4, and DeAndre Hunter was sitting there, and everybody in the preseason, we love to blast people when they get it wrong. Well, I'm doing the total opposite, and I'm tipping my cap to all the draft experts and everybody I follow on Instagram. Darn near everybody I can think of. Zion's the top guy, we get it. Ja works for Memphis, that's cool. The Knicks are dead set on R.J. Barrett, but the safest first-round pick, Zion is, you can't not take him, but the safest guy, the guy that is going to come in and make the biggest change immediately, is our guy. It's our guy, DeAndre Hunter. And brother, are they not kidding? Have you seen the Hawks play defense this year? It is unreal. And he's a rookie, man. Yeah. But it's absolutely insane the commitment to defense everybody's made. John Collins, who has been written off as a non-defensive big man, brother, boy, we got that one wrong. We got that one wrong. It is so awesome. The impact that kid has had, just as far as them looking to him for that type of leadership role. It's a quiet leadership role. He's not going to go. He literally, people always said, oh, he's Kawhi Leonard at the beginning of his career, and they're not kidding. Because Leonard getting 30 a night, that's new. He didn't do that when he first got to San Antonio. What he did was snuff people. That's what DeAndre did. Man, I love that team so much. I did not know I could love them more than I already do. But holy crap, they are a blast. And Trey's coming back. I think he'll be back Tuesday. I don't think they've said, but that was the thing when he got injured. It was like, oh, he'll be back next week. Okay, I'm holding you to that.
Okay.
But anyhow, the boys did not play bad. Actually, the boys played far too well to lose, and it's a bummer. But the biggest complaint about Atlanta United is DeBoer. People just decided they didn't like DeBoer. They just decided, we love Tata. Well, Tata doesn't love us back. And I love the guy. The thing is, you got to understand, Martino built something great here, and he did us a big, big solid. But he got offered his dream of dream jobs. Are we mad at him for leaving? No. But stop treating it like the team got rid of him, because they didn't. Don't judge Ronald DeBoer on this season. Even though he did turn that mess around, didn't he? Did pretty good. We hosted the Eastern Conference Finals. All you need to know.
Yeah.
But the thing about DeBoer is this. You hire an Ajax man for what an Ajax man can do for you at the academy level. Because if you can replicate the Ajax academy, that is the gift that keeps on giving forever. Atlanta United I hope, is never going to be that team that goes to Europe and overpays for guys at the end of their career. I like when MLS does that. It's great for the league. I just don't want my guys to do it. I like the fact that we're a team that doesn't have to do that. We haven't done it yet. I'm cool with us not doing it. Put your money in developing your own players. And by God, if you can crank out squad guys, and oh, baby, if you can get the stars coming from the kids you sign as schoolboys, that's what you want. Ajax has done that on a level that nobody else in the world can touch. West Ham is fantastic. Everton's fantastic. Barcelona's got a great academy. None of them approach what Ajax has done. That's why you hired Frank de Boer. That's why we hired him, and I'm very, very happy with giving him a little time and seeing what he can do. Sounds good to me, because I don't think he's looking to leave. Tata wouldn't have left. It's just the offer he got was too good. So we ain't mad at him. But, I'm tired of people whining about DeBoer. And it just sucks, because even with the turnaround, they still complain. Oh, it's so boring. They don't play the way they did last year. You damn right they don't play the way they did last year, because Tata's not the coach anymore. Sorry, he's not. Anyway, I don't mean to get like all crazy about it, because it was a very fun year, man. United had an awesome year. They won 2 freaking cups, man. They won 2 trophies this year, and nobody talks about it, including the U.S. Open, which gets you in the Champions League next year. And hopefully, let's all collectively hope, as Major League Soccer fans, that we will put that pressure on CONCACAF, and we will get the start time for the Champions League changed, because them starting that junk at the beginning, it's basically preseason games for our guys against the best teams in the region. We're never going to win if we keep doing that, so it sucks that I'm saying, well, let's just America them. But Major League Soccer, Mexico, that's the jam. That league is awesome. They are so much fun to watch. And if they want to keep it the way they want to keep it, I can see it sticking that way for a little while. But also, the Campeones Cup, which, oh, it's a one-off game. It's not even really a trophy. I disagree. I'm very happy that we won it. And the reason I'm happy we won it is because it's good to get a trophy. But also, the Campeones Cup was invented to give you that guaranteed Champions League final that you hope you could get. Because the best Champions League final you could possibly get every year is one team from Mexico and one team from the U.S. Because anytime you get those fan bases together, it's a big deal. And I'll prove it to you. They gave Atlanta the one-off game against Club America, the Real Madrid of Mexico. And guess who Club America put on the field when they came to play for that game? Their front line. Ochoa did not play in goal. Other than that, it was everybody that you would expect on a front line team to come in and win. They wanted to win. And I love that they wanted to win. Because it matters. Dude, if it's a Major League Soccer against, I think it's Liga MX, I think is how you pronounce it. My Spanish stinks, but I think that's how you say it. It's great. Play up that rivalry, man. Do it. It's awesome, especially if you're Major League Soccer, because that's something that you can do in this country that nobody else can do. The NFL doesn't have an international competitor. No one does. No, honestly, baseball, I wish baseball would bring the Japanese champs in for a series, but I don't think they're feeling that. So play it up. It's, oh, God. So it's very smart. The idea is great, and I know that a Major League Soccer team has won it now. Everybody wants to put it down, and that's fine. Also, I would still say the most hated team in Major League Soccer, because boy, it didn't take Atlanta very long, but got that reputation. And to be fair, some of the fan base, we deserve it, because all that whining is just ridiculous. I don't want Navy to leave in the expansion draft. Just wanted to say that out loud too.
Oh heck yeah.
Yeah, man.
That's what's up.
Take it easy, y'all.
Y'all be cool.